You probably, well, if you've been attending Story Slam, you know that a few years back I went to Philmont Scout Ranch with my older boy in 2021, and we had a great adventure, and that was all very nice. And then, but the thing was, is that I was the soft one, the weak link, not in that great a shape. I'm still not in that great a shape, but the other two dads were these super fit doctors who would like bicycle 50 miles and hike 10 all uphill. One was actually a army doctor, and the other, well, former army doctor, and the other one was a emergency room doctor. So I didn't really have to do much except not die, and I succeeded at that. Now, 3 years later, my younger boy wants to go to Philmont, and now I found myself actually leading the thing because I'd been there before, and I was the dad who had been driving a bus the longest, and that was kind of some amazing responsibility and quite a change around. And so one of the great things about hiking out at Philmont with Troop 99 is that the troop has a bus, and so a bunch of us have CDLs to drive it with passengers, and so we drive across the country to New Mexico, and we're driving through Kansas and looking on the GPS and thinking about dinner, and like, hey, here's this great Kansas barbecue place in like nowhere town, Flatsville, Kansas. That sounds really cool. Let's go check that out. But that turned out to be a miss, that it had closed some weeks earlier. And we found some other place that was okay, but it wasn't really quite as exciting. But one of the things that we didn't miss was the stay at Sugar Right Canyon in New Mexico. So Sugar Right Canyon State Park in New Mexico is an amazing place. It is a canyon, literally. But at the top of the canyon is mesa, which for me is just kind of alien landscape. Yeah, you see it on TV, but here we were standing on it. And so we hike out of our campsite. This is before we get to Philmont, and we're on top of this the canyon and looking that way, and there's just flat grassland, and then that way there's canyon, and then you can see the other wall of the canyon. And so my younger boy Theo says, "Wow, this is the most beautiful landscape I've ever seen." And this kid has been to Kamchatka. He's been to the Pacific Northwest coast, where I don't know, I kind of like that, Mount Rainier and things. But he was just really struck by the awe of this huge landscape. And then hiking through Philmont, I found myself having a lot of near misses. Like, I nearly missed catching poor Nathan, as Nathan didn't let go of the rope holding the donkey or burro, and he held on to that burro rope, but the burro was going forward, nothing stopping him. And then I watched Nathan go underneath the burro, and the burro missed, thankfully, stepping on Nathan's head, so just on his ankle. That was really one of the most horrifying times of my life. Talking, I was thinking of Doc Yoder and the horrible things with his kids almost breaking things. And this isn't my kid, but, I was kind of the nearest adult. Fortunately, Nathan's dad is a nurse practitioner, and he kind of stitched him up and looked at him and like, oh yeah, this will be all right. The ankle will be kind of sore. So that was good. That near miss of a disaster. So then we made it to that camp, and we went up to the camp that we were supposed to stay at before summiting this big mountain, Mount Baldy. It's like 13,000 feet. And the thing with teenagers, and this is the parent's point of view, not a 90s parent, is that the little shits don't listen to you. When you say useful stuff like, hey, we're at 10,000 feet. You're at sea level most of your lifetime. You should drink water. You're going to get dehydrated, and then life will suck if you get dehydrated. But, of course, the little shit didn't drink water because he's not into that. He's into being dehydrated. But when you get dehydrated at like 9,000 feet above sea level, everybody's life sucks. So the next day, sure enough, Theo's puking his guts out and has a headache, and he's just feeling horrible. And the problem is, when you get to that stage, you can't keep the water down to absorb it. So made it to this next kind of camp station thing, and he was feeling really horrible for several hours, and they're radioing into the central area. The thing is that Nathan's dad came prepared for this sort of stuff, and he had this, I forget the name of the tablet. It's an anti-nausea tablet, but it's a prescription thing. And so he didn't want to give it to my kid, although it was fine with me, without, the camp's permission. And it took about 4 hours to get that. In the meantime, Theo's feeling horrible, but the good side was all the other kids got to go shoot the muskets that were at that station. And then finally we got permission, and so Theo took the medicine. In about 5 minutes, he felt really good, and then we're like, damn it, drink water. Drink it now, because in 30 minutes, you're going to feel like shit again, because that's how long the medicine lasts. And so he was feeling okay and drank fine. And then we got to the next place where we were actually spending the night, and we did miss then the activities at that place. But interestingly enough, all the other kids were actually thankful that Theo got really sick, because they thought it was a lot more fun shooting the muskets than doing the ropes course at the place we were staying that night. So you miss some, you hit some, it all kind of works out.